I transmigrated into a novel, becoming the tragic cannon fodder, supporting male character. After I realized my girlfriend was destined to fall in love with the male lead and eliminate me, I struck first. When she was drugged and supposed to have a night of passion with the male lead, I beat him to it. Afterwards, I put on a heart-wrenching act. Let's break up. I don't want a woman who's been tainted. She was like a heartbroken kitten, desperately scrubbing her skin raw. Years later, when I heard she was going to marry the male lead, I thought the plot had finally run its course. So, I reappeared and began to get to know the marriage candidate arranged by my family. But that very night, she imprisoned me. She stripped off her clothes piece by piece. Her desire was a morbid, obsessive, and humble plea. Ethan, look at me. I've been washing myself for years. I'm not dirty anymore. I stood frozen, my eyes widening as I looked at the suggestive marks on Vivian's body. My best friend's angry shouts and Vivian's attempts to explain filled my ears. I took a few steps back, avoiding her hand. Disappointment mixed with anger etched on my face. Vivian, is this what you call a business trip? Ethan, it's not like that. You know I only love you. Don't say anymore. I roared, heartbroken. How can you even try to explain these marks on your body? Ethan, I beg you. Believe me, this must all be a misunderstanding. Vivian looked down at the suggestive marks on her body, her eyes red and on the verge of tears. She wanted to explain, but no words came out, only a pleading gaze fixed on me, but I was resolute. Let's break up. I'll set you both free. Vivian swayed as if she couldn't stand. Her eyes shattered. Break up. Yes, break up, I said, clenching my fist, uttering even more decisive and hurtful words. The pain was so intense, I turned and fled in disarray. My best friend immediately chased after me, his comforting words filling my ears. Ethan, out with the old, in with the new. It's not worth being sad over a cheating woman. This Vivian, she's really something else. I used to envy you too, childhood sweethearts. You've doted on her since you were kids. I thought she was loyal and deeply in love, different from other women, but it was all fake. The pain in my chest was so severe I could barely stand. It's not her fault you don't understand. I'm just sad we couldn't make it to the end. My best friend patted my back, his face full of concern. Ethan, no matter how much you like her, you can't. If she cheats once, she'll do it again. He thought I was sad about Vivian cheating and betraying me, but I was sad because I had to completely let her go. Vivian hadn't cheated, nor had she slept with anyone else. She hadn't done anything wrong. 3 months ago, I accidentally bumped into a guy. That night, I had a dream and learned that the world I was in was a book. The female lead was Vivian, but the male lead wasn't me. Ethan, was just cannon fodder, and the male lead was the guy I'd bumped into during the day, Finn. Vivian would realize after meeting him that our childhood bond wasn't love. She would gradually fall for Finn, and my possessiveness towards Vivian as the cannon fodder would lead me to repeatedly harm the male lead, exhausting Vivian's last bit of affection for me. My parents, time and again, would target and suppress the male lead for my sake, leading our entire family to ruin. I didn't believe it at first, but no matter where Vivian and I went, Finn's shadow would be there. When we went shopping, he'd be handing out flyers on the street. When we ate at a Western restaurant, he'd be the waiter. Even when I deliberately changed my college major and had Vivian apply to a university in a neighboring state, Finn still miraculously appeared, even ending up in the same major and class as Vivian. It was as if everything was predestined. In the days that followed, I saw him accidentally bump into Vivian countless times while walking, scrape her car with his bike, or be bullied and conveniently have Vivian witness it. Even if Vivian did nothing, the bullies left because of me. Yet Finn still saw Vivian as a savior, gifting her a hand-carved wooden sculpture. Vivian's polite refusal wasn't enough to give me any sense of security. Instead, my panic grew because in the book, she was like that with Finn at the beginning too. Finn was like a ticking time bomb, constantly reminding me that my treasure would be snatched away. And no matter how I tried to avoid their interactions, they would always meet in other ways. In the book, Vivian's affection for Finn stemmed from a car accident. Although the accident wasn't serious, I still wanted to prevent it from happening. So that day, I tried to stop Vivian from going out. Vivian, not understanding, thought I just wanted to lay in bed and snuggled into my arms, kissing me. Ethan, if we don't get up, we'll be late. I wrapped my arms around her waist, pressed her down onto the bed, and pulled her into my embrace. Sweetheart, you're not going anywhere today. Just stay home with me. So bossy, but what if I really want to go to class? Unless you can name something more appealing to do at home. Her finger playfully traced from the tip of my nose to my lips, her gaze suggestive. I saw through her intentions immediately, grabbed her finger and bit it gently. Sweetheart, don't tease me. She let out a light laugh, her hand slipping under my shirt. What if I do tease you? With that, she leaned in to kiss my Adam's apple, but I blocked her with my hand. She pouted in disappointment, kissed the back of my hand, and cooed. Ethan, give it to me. Her hand, mischievous on my chest, sent shivers down my spine. I couldn't hold back any longer and pinned her hands above her head, kissing her. We fooled around for a long time, and I only stopped when she was crying and begging for mercy. But she did listen to me and stayed home all day. I thought everything had changed. But the next day, when I was driving Vivian to class, a car went out of control and crashed into us. And I realized nothing had changed. In fact, things had gotten worse. To protect me, Vivian threw herself in front of me at the critical moment, putting herself in the most dangerous position. I was only dazed and had no injuries, but Vivian was covered in blood. As we were being carried out, I saw Finn giving Vivian emergency first aid. In my dream, Vivian wasn't nearly as injured, just a mild concussion. But my intervention had made things like this. At that moment, I knew everything I did was futile. The male and female leads were destined to meet and fall in love. Because Finn's first aid was so good, Vivian, who had been on the brink of death, was successfully saved. Vivian's parents were grateful to him, and after learning about his pitiful background, they even considered adopting him as their godson. Finn, flustered, refused. Uncle, Auntie, you're too kind. Vivian saved me before, too. It's only right that I help her. Vivian's mother was a little surprised. So Vivian saved you before? You two really are fated. Fated? Those words filled me with despair and pain. Looking at Finn, a malicious thought rose in my heart. I was the one who grew up with Vivian. Why could he, as the male lead, so easily snatch everything away? I finally understood why the me in the book turned bad. No one could watch the treasure they cherished in their palm be snatched away without feeling pain. I was no exception, but I didn't want to end up like I did in the book. Nor did I want to truly make things difficult for Finn as written, causing Vivian to gradually despise and even hate me. More importantly, I didn't want Vivian to be on the brink of death again because of me. So, I decided to let go. All I wanted was her safety. During her recovery, I stayed by her side, cherishing our last moments together. But I couldn't bring myself to talk about breaking up until she recovered and had to go to Miami for a business trip. She wanted me to go with her, but I refused. I thought she had to get used to days without me. But the night she left, I had another dream. In the dream, she was drugged and then spent a passionate night with Finn. Seeing this, I couldn't control myself anymore and rushed to Miami overnight. When I found her, she was being carried into a room by a drunk Finn. Without thinking, I knocked Finn out. Just as I was about to carry her to the hospital, the image of her covered in blood flashed before my eyes. A chill ran down my spine, but I couldn't let her have relations with Finn. In the end, I decided to indulge myself one last time. I pressed the disoriented, flushed Vivian onto the bed. To prevent her from possibly waking up, I even blindfolded her with my tie. After doing all this, my heart was pounding so hard it felt like it would jump out of my throat. In the past, Vivian had always pestered me to cross the final line, but I had always held back, feeling she was still too young. Now, however, I didn't want my beloved girl to be defiled by someone else. I gently undid her clothes, tracing her beautiful collarbone down to her full, beautifully shaped curves. Vivian's chest heaved violently. Her body, already affected by the drug, burned even hotter with my touch. She sobbed, "Ethan, I feel so awful." My heart ached hearing her, but the thought that if Finn had come today, she would have been just as lost in passion made me unbearably sad. I bit her collarbone punitively. "Sweetheart, who am I?" "Ethan, Ethan. She kept rubbing against me. I couldn't hold back any longer, leaving bite marks all over her neck and collarbone. Seeing her impatiently struggling against the restraints on her hands, I had to speed up. When we became one, I couldn't help but shed tears. Sweetheart, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I love you. I'll always love you. I steeled my heart and took her, the rhythm of her movements entirely mine, and she cried, calling my name over and over, acting purely on instinct. When it was all over, I kissed the tears from the corners of her eyes. Then I kicked the unconscious Finn a few more times and put him back on the bed. Seeing him still looking uncomfortable, I pushed him onto the floor. After doing all that, I prepared to leave. But at the hotel entrance, I ran into my best friend who had witnessed their tryst in my dream. Ethan, thank goodness you're here, too. I happened to see your Vivian being taken away by a guy at a dinner party today. I couldn't leave right away, but the more I thought about it, the more something felt off. That's how I found out where they were staying and rushed over. Are you here to find them, too? Naturally, with my best friend as a witness, I became the victim. This was good, too. I could break up with her now. Vivian wouldn't cling to me anymore. She would completely forget me. After leaving Miami, I rushed back home and locked myself in my room. The sadness was real. Giving up someone I'd loved for so long wasn't easy. The guilt was real, too. I had stolen her first time with Finn. My parents took turns trying to persuade me, but I ignored them all. They only thought Vivian had wronged me, but only I knew Vivian hadn't done anything wrong. Vivian called me over and over, but I didn't answer. Later, she actually came to my house begging to see me. I had anticipated that such an abrupt breakup wouldn't be easily accepted by her. If it were to be like in the book, slowly making her resent me and finally having her stab me for the male lead, or disregarding the plot and letting her face danger again and again, I couldn't accept either. For several days, she stood outside my house. My parents knew I didn't want to see her, so they didn't let her in. Until one rainy day, she stood in the rain for hours, but still wouldn't leave. My heart ached. I crushed a glass in my hand without feeling the pain in my heart. My parents, having watched her grow up, finally softened and let her in. Her pleas filled the space outside my room. Ethan, I was wrong. Please talk to me, okay? It was my fault. I shouldn't have drunk. I shouldn't have associated with Finn. I've already deleted all his contact information. Please look at me, okay? Ethan, I beg you. Her voice choked with sobs. Or, do you not want to see me because you think I'm dirty? My heart clenched painfully. I opened the door, tears streaming down my face. She was soaked like a drowned kitten. She reached out to hug me, but her hand recoiled just before touching me. I looked at her exposed skin. Her neck was an unnatural red. It looked like it had been scrubbed vigorously, and the areas with bite marks were even rubbed raw. Ethan, can you give me another chance? Vivian, don't be so stubborn. You can like someone else without me. There won't be anyone else, she cried, denying it. What about Finn, then? Do you dare say his appearance hasn't affected you? Vivian didn't deny it immediately, and I knew I was right. I wiped the tears from her face and looked at her steadily. Vivian, you're not wrong. I'm not good enough. Let's part amicably. Ethan, it's not like that. She shook her head, her eyes red, still trying to explain. Vivian, I'm begging you. Let's give each other some dignity. With that, I closed the door, unable to bear seeing her sad face any longer. I slid down against the door, hearing her cry loudly outside. Ethan, how can you be so cruel? I didn't want to hear her crying anymore. I messaged Vivian's parents, asking them to send someone to pick her up. Then I immediately applied to study abroad. I don't know when Vivian left. When I woke up, I was on 4 drips. The doctor said I had lost too much blood. Thankfully, I was discovered quickly. My mom, seeing me awake, wiped her tears, her heart aching. Son, why did you do something so foolish? Don't you want us anymore? Mom, I didn't mean that. My heart just hurt too much. I wanted to distract myself from the pain. I hadn't expected to cut myself with a glass. After comforting my mom, I brought up studying abroad. My mom was stunned, wanting to say something but swallowing her words. My dad patted her back and asked her to check on some food for me in the kitchen. After everyone left the room, my dad sat on a chair, looking at me with a somewhat serious expression. What exactly happened to you? My hand, fidgeting with the blanket, tightened. I wanted to brush it off, but then my dad handed me a file folder. Inside was a complete record of my movements in Miami. A jolt went through me, and I broke out in a cold sweat. If my dad could find this, Vivian naturally could too. It was just that her mind was currently consumed with winning me back, so she had no energy to investigate. I mumbled, "Dad," before I could even make my request. My dad already understood. "I've already cleaned things up for you. Vivian won't find out." I let out a sigh of relief, "But you have to tell me the truth. You're my son. No matter how big the trouble, Dad will support you." A warmth spread through my heart, and tears welled up in my eyes. In the book, Mom and Dad were like that, targeting and suppressing Finn in every way, only to end up with a miserable fate. I fell silent for a moment, then finally told him about the book, but I didn't mention that I died because of Vivian. After listening, my dad frowned deeply. I didn't know if he believed me or not, but he did start to expedite my application to study abroad. Time flies, and in the blink of an eye, for years had passed. Vivian and Finn were getting married. Although I had been avoiding news about them, our social circles overlapped. It was inevitable that I'd hear about their movements. The huge weight in my heart finally lifted. Everything seemed to have settled without me. The cannon fodder stirring up trouble. They still ended up together, though it took a bit longer. As I came out of the airport, a woman in a vibrant dress approached me. "Ethan, welcome back to the country." She smiled and waved at me, then presented me with a bouquet of flowers. It took me a few seconds to realize this was Laura, the marriage candidate my parents had introduced me to. Although it was an arranged marriage, they still wanted to see if she suited my taste. So, they had sent me her contact information early on, and I had chatted with her for a while. She was cheerful, humble, and strikingly beautiful. Not a bad person. I smiled and accepted the flowers. "Thank you. I like them very much." "Glad you like them," she said, smiling and standing beside me. I followed her around the corner, about to take the elevator to the parking lot. Turning around, I met Vivian's gaze. I froze instantly. Even my blood seemed to solidify. The Vivian now was so familiar, yet so strange. The girl who was once as cute as cotton candy now wore a crisp white suit, looking capable and cold. The way she looked at me held no love or gentleness, only an icy chill. She walked towards me in her high heels, each step feeling like it was treading on my already dormant heart. Her imposing aura made me unconsciously take half a step back. "Vivian, I'm here. Did I keep you waiting long?" A low male voice sounded. I didn't need to guess. It was Finn. Vivian's footsteps faltered. Finn, with his slicked-back hair, had already reached her side, intimately draping his arm around her shoulder. "I told you we have a driver. Why did you have to postpone an important meeting to pick me up personally?" "It's not like I don't know the way," he grumbled. But his eyes, looking at me, were filled with smugness. My hand holding the roses tightened, my palm feeling as if pricked by thorns. Once upon a time, Vivian was like this too. No matter where I went, no matter when I came home, she would come to pick me up and then rush into my arms like a little cannonball. But now, this was no longer my exclusive privilege. After 4 years, I still couldn't completely let her go. I forced myself to look away. I squeezed out a fake smile for Laura. "Let's go. Mom and Dad are waiting." Laura nodded politely at them and prepared to leave with me. Finn called out to me, feigning surprise. "Ethan, I didn't expect you to be back. Long time no see. I almost didn't recognize you. This must be your girlfriend, right? You two look great together." Then he took out 2 wedding invitations and handed them to me. "Vivian and I are getting married. As an old classmate, you absolutely must come." I struggled to maintain my composure, pretending not to care as I accepted the invitations. "Okay, I'll definitely be there." Then I smiled and said goodbye to them. From beginning to end, Vivian didn't say a word, like an invisible person. It wasn't until Laura and I entered the elevator and the doors were closing that Vivian's gaze locked onto me. My heart skipped a beat, and I quickly stepped aside out of her line of sight. "Ethan, what's wrong?" Laura asked. I shook my head, but an uneasy feeling lingered in my heart. News of my return quickly spread through our circle. It was inevitable that I'd have to catch up with old friends. At a gathering organized by my best friend, After everyone had exchanged recent updates, they started gossiping. Ethan, be honest. Did you come back to crash the wedding? As long as you say yes, we'll definitely help you get Vivian back. I waved my hands repeatedly. Please don't do anything reckless. Vivian and I are in the past. A friend sighed. Back then, I'd sooner believe the world would end tomorrow than believe you two would break up. What exactly happened between you two back then? How did Vivian fall for Finn? Was there some misunderstanding between you? Or did that pretty boy Finn steal her from you? Questions came one after another, and they even recounted how good I had been to Vivian. We hadn't been separated since kindergarten. I had spoiled her rotten since we were little. Other kids were encouraged by teachers to eat on their own, but that didn't work with me at all because I would take care of everything for Vivian. Feeding her, giving her milk, lulling her to sleep. If she encountered any trouble, she just had to call out Ethan, and I would solve it for her. So, from a young age, Vivian's parents would tease her, saying she knew how to find herself a child groom so early on. What's the use of him being good to Vivian in the past? My best friend scoffed. Wasn't she still coaxed away by another man with just a few words? Stop it. I interrupted him. Not wanting to stay any longer, I excused myself to the restroom. When I came out of the restroom, I bumped into Vivian. My heart suddenly raced. I didn't expect her to be here, too. Flustered, I stepped back and tried to leave. Ethan, she softened her voice. It's been 4 years. Don't you want to see me? This familiar address made my footsteps falter, a warmth spreading in my heart. I kept my back to her and said, Miss Miller is about to get married. You should be loyal to your fiancé. Calling others like this is really inappropriate. I started to walk away, but someone from behind wrapped their arms around my waist, and at the same time, a handkerchief was pressed over my nose and mouth. When I woke up, I was tied to a bed. The room had only one door, and the walls were completely sealed. The entire room was blindingly white. The room door opened, and Vivian walked in. Only then did I remember what happened before I passed out. The current oppressive atmosphere and Vivian's obviously abnormal state made my heart pound. Vivian, what are you doing? Ethan, I just missed you so much. Her gaze was obsessed and aggrieved as she slowly approached me. Vivian, stop being crazy. Let me go back quickly. My parents will be worried if they know I'm missing. Why don't you think about me? Why is your mind full of others? She suddenly became sinister, her face cold. The next moment, she yanked my tie, tightening it. Why did you smile at other women? Why did you accept roses from someone else? How could you want someone else to be your girlfriend? Ethan, you can only love me. Saying this, she kissed me forcefully as if venting her anger. She kept biting my lips and tongue until my lips were broken. I turned my head away and roared, "Get off." Her eyes met mine, and she suddenly burst into a mixture of laughter and tears. Ethan, you actually yelled at me. You don't love me, do you? I couldn't say words against my heart and avoided the topic. Vivian, do you plan to keep me locked up for the rest of my life? Ethan, I won't. Trust me. I didn't know what she was trying to do. Fortunately, after knowing she used my phone to deceive my parents about my whereabouts so they wouldn't worry, I wasn't so anxious anymore. Vivian was still as good to me as before, except for locking me up. My food and clothing were all according to my preferences. She even let me move freely around the villa after I said I didn't want to be chained to the bed. However, as her wedding day with Finn approached, and she still showed no intention of letting me go, it made me feel like her kept man, and she was still actively preparing for her wedding with Finn every day. So, her closeness only made me more miserable. When she tried to sleep next to me in my bed again at night, I yelled, Vivian, can you please not come near me? You're disgusting. You know that. Vivian was stunned for a moment, then started taking off her clothes. I was horrified and scrambled off the bed. Vivian, you're about to get married. What do you think you're doing? She acted as if she couldn't hear, her hands continuing to undress, piece by piece. I didn't dare look and averted my eyes, wanted to leave the room, but the door had a password lock. I couldn't open it at all. Just when I thought she was going to entangle me in something, she just stood there, her plea morbid, obsessive, and humble. Ethan, look at me. I've been washing myself for years. I'm not dirty anymore. A pang of pain shot through my heart. I wrapped the blanket around her. Vivian, I never thought you were dirty. You're not dirty. She took the opportunity to hug me. Then, do you want me? I removed her arms. But my hands were cuffed by her at some point. You still mind, don't you? If you mind, you should lock me up and punish me, so I can only see you forever. But you just want to abandon me. Do you not love me at all? I was shocked by her morbid state. I had no doubt she had mental problems. Her forceful attempt to undress me further confirmed this. Ethan, please wash me clean. Okay, she said, throwing off the blanket and tearing at my pants. I remember every place I was touched by someone else. Will you help me wash them clean? Vivian, let go. Get a grip. I tried hard to hold on to my pants, but she was stubbornly convinced that if I wasn't angry and didn't punish her, it meant I didn't love her. I was both angry and anxious enough. I was the one who did all that back then. You're not dirty. I had already prepared for her to angrily question me why I did it. However, she just shook her head, not believing me at all. Instead, she disgustedly clawed at her own skin, obsessively wanting me to punish her. Before I could think deeply about why she didn't believe me, I forcefully pulled her into my arms to prevent her from harming herself further. If you want me to punish you so badly, then how can you try to kill yourself? She was stunned for a moment, then nodded. Ethan is right. You should be the one to do it. The person who had just been aggressive suddenly became as docile as a kitten, snuggling in my arms. With red eyes, she pleaded, Ethan, lock me up. Shut me away. Then I'll belong only to you. For a moment, I was speechless. Seeing me silent, she continued to cry. Ethan, why haven't you helped me wash clean yet? I stroked her head and coaxed her softly. Okay, I'll wash you clean right now, but don't you need to unlock the chains on my hands first? She found the key, unlocked them for me, and then obediently lay on the bed waiting for me to act. I chuckled and shook my head, then picked her up. She asked doubtfully, doesn't Ethan like doing it in bed? Vivian, what kind of things have you been looking at? She silently closed her mouth and said, no more. I carried her into the bathroom, filled the tub with water, but she reached out and pulled me, wanted me to get into the tub with her. I glanced at her curvaceous body and turned my head away. Be good, or I'll get angry. Oh, okay. Only then did she sit obediently, waiting for me to act. I tried my best to control my gaze, repeatedly chanting a calming mantra in my mind. But Vivian, oblivious, grabbed my hand and guided it to her sensitive areas. I recoiled as if electrocuted. Don't move around. Wash this part yourself. Then she actually started crying. You still despise me. I don't. God knows how much I wanted to ravish her, to make her cry until she couldn't cry anymore. In the end, I compromised. The whole process nearly made me bite my lip raw. After washing her and putting her back in bed, I returned to the bathroom. I bit my lip hard to keep any sound from escaping. After returning to bed, I held her as we slept. Perhaps because I had too many things on my mind that night, I didn't sleep soundly. So, when Vivian left the room in the middle of the night, I was clearly aware and quietly followed her. Vivian's house actually had a basement. Unfortunately, the door was a password-protected one, and it locked automatically as soon as Vivian went in. I had no choice but to quietly return to the room and pretend to be asleep. Nearly 2 hours later, Vivian returned. In the darkness, she took my hand and kissed it. Ethan, it's almost over. I didn't understand what was almost over, but I thought it must be related to the basement. The next day, after Vivian left, I found the entrance to the basement. It was a 6-digit password door. I tried Vivian's birthday, my birthday, even various anniversaries, but none were correct until I entered the date of our breakup. The door opened. It was also a basement, but different from the place Vivian had previously locked me in. This basement was dark, gloomy, and cold, like a man-eating beast. As I went deeper, I saw a reclining chair with restraints. There were also electroshock devices, medications, and so on. I was horrified, somewhat guessing it was for treating mental illnesses. So Vivian really had a mental illness, but after rummaging through her things, I couldn't find any specifics about what illness was being treated. I had to put everything back first and plan to find an opportunity to ask Vivian. But as soon as I came up from the basement, I saw Finn. I was startled. I hadn't expected Finn to find his way here to Vivian's place. Finn looked down at me. Ethan, you really are a persistent ghost. As a supporting character, you should have some self-awareness. Otherwise, the consequences will be dire. Supporting character. So Finn knew he was the main character. I don't understand what you're talking about. I feigned ignorance. Finn smiled. If you don't understand, why did you go abroad back then? Everything was practically laid bare. He added, you know Vivian has mental problems, right? My heart sank. I looked up straight at him. What exactly are you trying to say? I just want to advise you to never appear in front of her again. Otherwise, if she goes crazy, it will all be because of you, but somehow I feel like she'll go crazy if I leave her. Finn snorted coldly. I hope you're still smiling when Vivian and I get married. Oh, don't let me keep you. After showing him out, I started to think about how to get information out of Vivian. When Vivian came back, I tried to probe indirectly, but I couldn't get anything out of her. Finally, I had to resort to my trump card, getting her drunk. Her alcohol tolerance was already poor, and after what happened back then, she hadn't touched a drop. So when I fed her wine mouth to mouth, she had no resistance at all. Her eyes shone frighteningly, full of excitement and disbelief. Ethan Moore, I handed her the wine glass. Drink it yourself. She boldly sat on my lap, rubbing her head against my shoulder. I want Ethan to feed me. Later, a lot of wine was fed, and her lips were kissed quite a few times. Looking at Vivian, whose eyes were already hazy, I asked directly, Vivian, do you have a mental illness? No, how could I be ill? Then what are those things in the basement for? At the mention of this, she suddenly hugged me and started crying. I'm sorry, Ethan. I'm tainted. My mind is always filled with someone else. My brain is out of my control. I clearly don't like him, but my mind is full of memories with him, doing all sorts of intimate things with him. He's like a curse, always appearing in my life, in my mind. Always saying I love him, but I clearly only love Ethan. But I can control it now. Every cell in my body says I hate him. If any man other than Ethan touches me, I'll throw up. From her answer, I seemed to understand. Vivian's mind contained the memories of her and Finn from the book, and these memories had a stronger influence on her. Her heart told her she didn't love Finn, but her brain was deeply imprinted with the idea that she loved Finn. It was as if someone had stuffed the emotions from the book into her head. That's why when I said I was the one who had relations with her, she didn't believe me. Ethan, I really did try to clear him out of my head. Please don't leave me, okay? I cupped her face and kissed her lips. Sweetheart, I'll work hard with you from now on. I used to think that Vivian had developed feelings for Finn. Now, it seemed that it was simply the influence of the plot. I couldn't help but feel very sad. I had actually let her face all this alone before. On the wedding day, Vivian woke me up early in the morning. Ethan, I'm going to marry someone else. I hugged her and kissed her. You go ahead. You don't care about me at all. Her resentment almost drowned me. Vivian's phone kept ringing, all calls urging her to hurry up. I was annoyed by the noise and sat up. Hurry up and go to the wedding venue. Be good. Follow the procedure. Don't do anything. Vivian stared at me, her eyes full of grievance. I kissed her on the lips. You're my treasure. I definitely won't abandon you. Don't worry. Go ahead. I have a surprise for you. Her eyes lit up, and she wrapped her arms around my neck, kissing me again. At noon at the wedding venue, guests had gathered. Under everyone's gaze, Finn appeared in a black suit. Vivian stood in place, looking around until I appeared. Her stern and cold features melted into spring water. Under everyone's gaze, I walked onto the stage, smiled, and extended my hand to Vivian. Sweetheart, I'm here to crash the wedding. Will you come with me? Vivian lifted her skirt and ran towards me. With pleasure, the guests were all shocked. Finn's face turned ugly as he said to Vivian, Vivian, look at me. You love me. You're going to marry me. Vivian's face was full of disgust. No, I don't love you. I've only ever loved Ethan. My hand and Vivian's were clasped together. I watched Finn cough up a mouthful of blood, speaking to some point in the void. It was utterly horrifying. After this wedding ended abruptly, Vivian's parents' attitude changed drastically. They themselves found it absurd. They didn't know how they could have let Vivian marry Finn back then. For all these years, they had treated Finn like their own son, not only providing academic support, but also letting him into the Miller family business. That was one thing, but they never thought they would agree to their marriage, and they hadn't asked for Vivian's opinion. According to Vivian's mother, it was like being hypnotized. This indeed reminded me that Vivian really needed to see a psychologist. Over the years, she had been caught between reality and the plot of the book. Apart from knowing that loving me was correct, other things were a chaotic mix of truth and falsehood. To this day, she still didn't believe I was the one who had relations with her back then. Fortunately, it was my dad who had handled the aftermath. I laid out all the information in front of Vivian. Talking about past events was really stupid, but I had to make Vivian understand that she was never dirty. After Vivian looked at the documents, her expression was blank. I apologized, guilty. "I'm sorry. I was too foolish back then, Ethan. It's okay." She leaned obediently against my chest. The next second, a handkerchief was pressed over my nose and mouth. "Ethan, you made me sad for so long. I'm going to punish you." Before I passed out, only 2 words flashed through my mind. "I'm done." When I woke up again, I was completely naked and tied to the bed, my body burning with an unbearable heat. "Sweetheart, what did you do to me?" Vivian held a belt in her hand and whipped my chest with it. "I just gave Ethan something good to eat. It can make Ethan more comfortable during the upcoming punishment." I knew I was in the wrong and didn't dare show any dissatisfaction until my chest was whipped crimson. She then moved the belt downwards. "Ethan, it's so naughty." I was horrified. "Sweetheart, I was really wrong. Please don't." "Ethan, it's crying so pitifully." Vivian laughed wantonly. I broke free from the handcuffs. The next moment, I pinned her beneath me. "Sweetheart, now it's your turn to cry." With the wedding called off, I thought I would have no more dealings with Finn. Who knew he would actually kidnap me? "Ethan, why can a supporting character like you end up with a female lead? I'm a chosen male lead. Why can't she love me?" From his intermittent, crazy ramblings, I learned that he had tried to win Vivian over twice. The first time, he had taken my current identity and was Vivian's childhood sweetheart. But Vivian didn't love him. Instead, she fell in love with me, whose life was pitiful. In this life, he deliberately chose my previous life's identity and tried to win Vivian over by imitating me. Unfortunately, Vivian still didn't love him. So he used something called a system to hypnotize Vivian. This method was undoubtedly cheating, and the price was death upon failure. At the wedding scene, Finn didn't hesitate to use hypnosis again, but unfortunately, Vivian had already tortured herself into immunity over the past 4 years. Vivian's confession of love to me was the best counterattack. Finn had entangled himself for 2 lifetimes only to end up with nothing, and his life had reached its final moments. When Vivian rushed over, Finn was holding a knife to my neck. Seeing Vivian, he lost some control. "Vivian, you love me, right? Say you love me, and I'll let him go. Say it." Vivian looked at me and nodded slightly. "I love you, Ethan." Finn completely collapsed. I seized the opportunity to elbow him hard, quickly creating distance between us. In an instant, he was subdued. Vivian hugged me, her body trembling. Her gaze towards Finn was filled with a desire to flay him alive. I hugged Vivian back tightly, comforting her. "Sweetheart, it's okay. It's all over." She rubbed her head against my chest for a while before looking up. "Ethan, I love you. Only you." I placed a light kiss on her forehead. "I know. I love you too. Only you." 3 months later, Vivian proposed to me, and she had been preparing for the wedding for a long time. Back then, I thought she was preparing it for Finn. Later, Vivian told me that even if I hadn't crashed the wedding, she wouldn't have married Finn. According to her plan, she would have proposed to me that day. She was also prepared for me to refuse. Fortunately, I was brave for once. Speaking of marrying Vivian, my best friend almost cursed me to death. He was afraid I was head over heels in love and would sacrifice my happiness for a cheating woman. He vigorously introduced me to high-quality girlfriends and even encouraged Laura to continue pursuing me. Vivian's face turned black with anger. That very day, she dragged me to get our marriage license. Then she flaunted our marriage certificate on social media, declaring her sovereignty. "Ethan, mind me, Ethan's." My best friend's eyes turned red with anger. So I told him the whole story from the beginning. It actually made him want to hit me. Vivian's reputation was cleared. She also gained the title of being love-struck. Thanks to her being love-struck,